Well. Looks like there's other people out there besides the Oklahoma Sooner fan base who a lot of people would say they're biased because it's their quarterback, that being John Mateer. It seems like there's a lot of people out there that are sort of getting on the John Mateer bandwagon here. Joe Klatt, for one, and a few articles about Mateer even being a top 10 Heisman candidate. Is the hype legit or is it overhyped? Let's talk about it. Woo! It's another great, grand, extraordinary edition of the Outlaw of College Football. And here comes the Outlaw Posse once again, riding on in with a random four horsemen shout outs right behind them. And they go to as follows: Tim Gillespie, Brad Friend, Bay Sooner, and Bart Weisenhunt are mounted up and saddled up and ready to go. They're going to help us with today's college football invasion. Also, if you want to be on the show and want to help with the show, hit me up on X under DMs at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here, it seems like John Mateer is already garnering a lot of hype from not just Oklahoma people that have seen him play, but outside sources I mentioned earlier with Joel Klatt and a few other articles endorsing Mateer as a possible top 10 Heisman candidate. I'm going to go ahead and bring those articles up for you guys and gals right now. And then after we touch on that, we'll get your opinion. Y'all drop in the comment section. Is the hype legit or is it overhyped? Here's the first article. This one's coming from Sooners Wire. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer among Joel Klatt's top quarterbacks in college football. New Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer has played one full season of college football. That season went so well that Mateer is earning legitimate All-American talk this spring. On a new team in a new conference, he's that highly thought of. On Monday, Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt released his rankings of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country going into the 2025 season. And then, of course, you got the usual suspects that were named: Arch Manning, Carson Beck, Penn State's Drew Alalar. Listing was no great surprise. But as you scroll on down here, what was a big surprise is that Mateer is the least known quantity, but is ranked ahead of two of those names and is ranked third overall in the quarterback rankings by Joel Klatt. That's pretty high praise. Despite the limited experience, his 2024 season at Washington State drew plenty of interest when he hit the transfer portal. He is really talented as a thrower, Klatt said. He's athletic and quietly put up one of the best quarterback years in the country. Now he's going to enter the spotlight. So now he goes down to Oklahoma. He goes to the SEC. And yes, that's a jump. There's no doubt. But he brings his offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, with him, which is a big plus. Not many quarterbacks out there that have transferred, including Carson Beck, can say that they got their offensive coordinator coming with them to make the transition probably 10 times easier for Mateer and probably set him up to maybe come out of the blue and possibly contend for the Heisman Trophy, as a lot of people are trying to say. Let's bring up the next article. This one right here is from A&Z Sports. John Mateer, it says, can John Mateer be the next Heisman winning quarterback at Oklahoma Sooner? ESPN likes his odds. Not that I like to get in bed with ESPN because they suck, but they do know what they're talking about sometimes. The Oklahoma Sooners have a rich history with the Heisman Trophy, with the second most winners in college football at 7. I think that's behind USC. Yeah, right here it says it. Only USC has more with 8. However, the Sooners have had a bit of a cold streak in recent years in contention for the prestigious award. Former Sooners like Mary Caleb Williams Fingernails and Dylan Gabriel have finished as finalists, but the Sooners haven't had a player in the running since Jalen Hurts finished as a finalist in 2019. ESPN believes that might turn around in 2025. However, as they ranked transfer quarterback John Mateer as one of their top 10 most likely Heisman candidates. It's not totally far-fetched to imagine Mateer is in the running for the award if the Sooners offense turns it around. Last season at Washington State, he passed for over 3,000 yards and 29 touchdowns while also tacking on 826 yards and 15 scores on the ground, and that was in just his first season as a starter in this system. With another year under his belt with Ben Arbuckle's scheme, upgraded weapons around him, Mateer's production could skyrocket in 2025. So, what do y'all think about that? I've had a lot of my Oklahoma cohorts. Some of them think it's legit, but like my boy Killer Breeze, he thinks that maybe people are, expecting too much out of Mateer and this Oklahoma team as a whole in their second season in the SEC. A lot of people are saying already and predicting Oklahoma is a dark horse, to contend for at least a top 4 spot in the SEC. And in the past, that may not sound like a big thing when there was only 10 to 12 teams. But now that you got 16 teams in the conference, that's top echelon. But some Oklahoma fans think it's legit. Some of them don't. Outside rivals, some of them think it's legit. Some of them don't. So it's like a 50-50 thing being pulled back and forth here. And I'm sort of in the middle on this whole thing. I could see Oklahoma, I've seen a lot of good things last year that, just glimmers of hope off and on. But the enormous amount of injuries kept any kind of cohesion from actually ever materializing for Oklahoma last year. But they already proved they can beat one of the top echelon teams in the SEC, that being Alabama. They've already got that checked off as they beat Alabama last year. And that's my team, and beat them by quite a bit, beat them by 21 points. But as far as John Mateer goes, like I said earlier, I think the big thing that might help him actually do this and live up to the hype is the fact that he actually brought his offensive coordinator with him. That's a big thing that nobody's really taken into account that much. Other quarterbacks have transferred. Most of them, I would say, 95% of them don't have the luxury of bringing a offensive coordinator they've already worked with, and they don't have a new learning curve. So I think that's going to be key in getting Oklahoma where they need to be, and that is in the top 4 of this conference, which I eventually think that they will be one of the top 4 programs in the SEC. But you guys and gals, tell me what you think about all that. Do you think the Mateer hype is overhyped, or do you think it's legit hype? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. That's the Big $4, absolutely free. But if you want to do something extra and help us out, keep the lights on. Join the Outlaw Posse for just $2.99 a month. That's just 75 cents a week. You get that badge. You get deputized. You get a random four horseman shout out, if I can get it out, as well as possibly be the comment of the day. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.